Everything is on fire. Generators, damn it, bunkers, buggies, motorcycles. It's a disaster.
Russian sources say things are heating up on the Sumy axis. Ukraine is intensifying its push around Andrivka and Yunikivka, reinforcing assault units and employing drones to hit supply lines near Sadki and Oleksivka. Moscow is reportedly rotating out the battered 810th Naval Infantry Marine Brigade, bringing in fresh units from the 31st Motor Rifle Regiment, some of which are already slipping into the area around Gordevka. These developments come amid Ukraine's broader Sumy offensive, which shows that Russian forces remain stretched and vulnerable. The 810th Brigade has been active across multiple fronts, including Kursk and Sumy, and has suffered damage to its logistics infrastructure from recent drone and special operations forces strikes. The incoming 30th Regiment, while bringing fresh manpower, may struggle to plug gaps due to limited acclimation to the terrain and supply constraints. The importance of these shifts cannot be overstated. First, control of villages like Andrivka, Yunikivka, Sadki, and Oleksivka gives Ukraine better positioning for inserting fire control over roads, forest cover, or supply routes into Russian-held territory. Second, rotating units suggests Russian defenses are under stress. Casualties, fatigue, disrupted logistics, so they need to pull out units like the 810th and try to reconstitute. Third, drone disruption of Russian supply lines compounds all this. Without steady ammunition, fuel, or reinforcements, the new incoming units face steep odds. If Ukraine keeps up this combined pressure, ground advances, drone strikes, rotation disruption, Russia could be forced to commit more reserves or risk losing ground in northern Sumy, threatening both its defensive depth and its ability to stage operations from there. In the Dobropilya and Pokrovsk sectors, about 330 kilometers are under the control of the armed forces, 160 kilometers have been liberated, and more than 170 kilometers have been cleared of occupiers, although the Russians will redeploy personnel there to hold their positions, President Zelensky said. Regarding our counteroffensive actions in the Dobropilya and Pokrovsk areas, the Russians wanted to encircle us, but it is our armed forces who are doing everything there to destroy the enemy. As of today, about 330 kilometers are under our control. 160 have been liberated, and more than 170 cleared of the enemy. We understand that they will now transfer personnel there to hold their positions, Zelensky told journalists. According to him, the Russians have constantly sent personnel there, as the Dobropilya and Pokrovsk directions have been their main axes. And now they have brought in the 61st Marine Brigade, realizing they are losing large numbers of their troops, the president said. It's not easy to speak of success when we are defending, but I believe this is a success for the armed forces of Ukraine. Conclusions can probably be drawn a bit later. God willing, everything will end as it is going now. We currently have the 79th and 82nd Brigades there. We spoke with them yesterday, as well as the National Guard and assault units, Zelensky added. Heavy fighting continues near Kupiansk, with appropriate forces in place. The president explained that strong units are operating there, destroying Russian forces that are concentrated and trying to advance. In the center of the city, counter-sabotage operations are underway. Our units are carrying out sweeps there. We believe the Russians will be eliminated, he stressed, in the Zaporizhia direction, just as we've said. We consider the two main Russian offensives to be Dobropilya-Pokrovsk and Zaporizhia. But since they lack forces, they are transferring everything to Pokrovsk and Dobropilya to try to show success, Zelensky said. At the same time, he noted that on Thursday, while receiving a briefing on the Defense Forces operation, he saw electronically the disposition of our forces and assets and also saw the Russian maps, and Russian reports differ greatly from reality. Where we've restored our positions, the Russians show the opposite on their maps. What does this mean? That reports from mid-level commanders up the chain in Russia differ from the real situation. I think that's not bad. In the information space, there has been a constant provocation about where they are in Donbass, claiming that in 30 days they would supposedly finally capture Pokrovsk and definitely seize the east by November. But that differs from reality, and thank God, the head of state concluded. A Russian soldier comments on the situation after a Ukrainian attack. "We're screwed here. Everything's on fire. Generators, dugouts, buggies, motorbikes. It's a disaster."
We have a misfortune here. Everything is on fire. Generators, damn it, bunkers, buggies, motorcycles. It's a disaster.
Russian insider channels confirm a recent attack on an ammunition depot in occupied Luhansk region. Overnight on September 18th, a Ukrainian drone strike hit an ammunition depot belonging to Russia's 17th Tank Regiment, 71st Motor Rifle Division Unit, 12,315 near Bodanivka, Luhansk region. 3 drones were used in the attack. Ammo detonations lasted all day, with firefighting efforts only beginning by evening. 5 vehicles, likely used for transport, were also destroyed. Fighters from the Asgard FPV unit of Ukraine's 412th SBS Regiment Nemesis helped the Russians write off a 152mm Pantsir-S self-propelled artillery system. Gone with the wind. The Russian Pantsir-S is a self-propelled howitzer with long-range firepower. But in Ukraine, it has often been exposed to counter-battery radar and drone-guided strikes, making it a frequent high-value target. Another night attack on Kyiv, aimed for residential buildings. Drone debris fell in multiple locations across Kyiv after air defense interceptions. In Shevchenkivsky district, the trolleybus power network was damaged, according to the city military administration. Overnight, Russia launched a massive attack on Ukraine using drones, ballistic and cruise missiles. Energy sites and residential areas were hit. Dnipro saw direct strikes, an apartment block was destroyed, leaving casualties and cutting water and power. Pavlorod faced drone and missile attacks. A large fire broke out at industrial facilities in Mykolaiv. In Kyiv, debris from intercepted drones caused fires in Sofiivska-Borshchahivka. 1 person was killed and 13 injured in the Russian strike on Dnipro overnight. A residential building was destroyed, and emergency crews continue to search through the rubble. Russia has lost 1,999,530 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of its full-scale invasion on February 24, 2022, the General Staff of Ukraine's Armed Forces reported on September 20. The number includes 1,070 casualties that Russian forces suffered over the past day. According to the report, Russia has also lost 11,192 tanks, 23,280 armored fighting vehicles, 62,168 vehicles and fuel tanks, 32,927 artillery systems, 1,492 multiple launch rocket systems, 1,218 air defense systems, 422 airplanes, 341 helicopters, 61,045 drones, 28 ships and boats, and 1 submarine.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.